Hi everyone. Oh, fancy message. Hi everyone, my name's Rohan. I'm a second year BA geography student here at the University of Leicester, one of the summer school mentors, and I've just finished my second year. I really love my time here, even if half of it has been sort of during a pandemic. And we're going to be talking a little bit about our STEM courses, our facilities, and just everything else you can do within STEM here at the University of Leicester. I'm also joined by Maria, and I'll pass over to her to introduce herself and start the presentation.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, my name is Maria and I do aerospace engineering. I've just finished my third year, so I'm about to graduate. I'll be talking to you guys a lot about the different subjects inside STEM. The University of Leicester offers a bunch of different subjects, so we'll be going through them. I've added for each subject a really big table. We'll not go through everything right now, but hopefully after the session, if you want to check anything, the presentation will hopefully be up and you can check whatever you want. So I actually don't have power to do anything with the presentation, so you're gonna have to help me out.
That's fine. Just have to give me a next slide, please, and I'll move it on.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we can move now. Okay, so the first subject that we kind of do here is mathematics. So in the table, there's kind of like a duration, the requirements for A levels, BTech and stuff like that. I won't be going through everything, but it's just for you to see that inside the maths course, there's a bunch of things that you can do as well. So actuarial science, artificial intelligence, things like that. Every subject will have things like that you can do. As you can see, it also says like year in Europe, year in the USA. We'll be talking a lot later on about studying abroad in the year in industry. But for now, this is just so that you get an idea of the kinds of courses that we do here. Next. So another subject that we do that is quite popular is engineering. Like I said before, I do engineering, and it's here at University of Leicester, we do kind of like four strands actually. So aerospace, electronic and electrical, general and mechanical. The first year is common for all subjects. So if you come to University of Leicester, the first year you'll be with everyone in the course, and then on your second and third year you'll be able to choose what kind of specialty you want to do. So if you see that in your first year you chose general but you actually wanted to do electronic or electrical, you can actually just change. If you don't know what you actually want to do, you can join whichever course and then just change. So that's another possibility. Next. Then we've got chemistry. So again, there's a lot of different kind of majors and minors that you can do with chemistry. So forensic science is one of them. If you know that you want to work in a pharmacy or that you want to be making medicines and things like that, you can do pharmaceutical chemistry. And again, all of the requirements are there. Like the requirements are usually general, but they do vary from person to person, but that's kind of a rough idea of what you should be aiming to achieve in your A levels. And a lot of the subjects, so for example, for engineering, I knew that they asked for one science to be involved in your A levels. So a lot of subjects are like that as well. So I don't know what, for example, chemistry asks for, but they might ask you to have one of your A levels that is chemistry or something like that. But more information about that is on the website, which is actually on the top, at the top on the right. So you'll be able to also go there and see what the requirements for each specific subject is. Next. Okay, so next one is physics and astrophysics. That's another kind of subject that we do here. Again, the courses vary from 3 to 5 years. The 5 years would be if you choose to do an integrated master's. So a normal bachelor's degree would be 3 years. If you choose to do a year abroad or a year in industry, which we'll talk really shortly about that, then it would be a 4th year. And then if you choose to do a kind of like a master's degree, then it would be 1 extra year. And the master's degree is is very recommended and highly advised by the academics and the teachers, and you'll see that if you go to uni, they'll really encourage you to add up the masters. So yeah, next. Then we've got the Department of Informatics, and in informatics, you've got computer science, and you've got software engineering, you've got data science. I think that earlier on when I was doing the informatics session group challenge, they asked what's the difference between computer science and software engineering. Well, I actually don't do computer science or software engineering, and I don't really completely know, but from what I know, I think computer science is like more of a broad subject where you look at softwares, hardwares, you learn how to code a lot, and things like that, whereas software engineering is a lot more specific, and you're building code for a specific thing, and it's a lot more focused, I think, but I'm not completely sure. So if anything, I'm sure that you can, I think the informatics teacher gave his details and stuff, and you can feel free to like email him or whatever, and he'll be able to help you. Again, there's optional years abroad and years in industry, which are also very popular, and we'll talk about them shortly as well. Next. And then finally, we've got geography, geology, and natural sciences. They are all different courses, and you can see the different courses there as well. Rohan does geography, I think, so he'll be able to explain to you later on about the amount of field trips that you have. So geography is quite a fun subject here as well, because you get to travel a lot, you get to do a lot of really fun things. So that's really nice. So we'll talk about that later as well. Next. Okay, so now we can talk about the actual study abroad. So most courses, like I said, vary from 3 to 4 years. And the reason why that is because you can choose to extend your course by a year or so and do something that will help enhance your CV. So there are 2 options. You can do either study abroad, which is basically just studying in another university in another country for a year, or you can choose to work in a company of your choice. And we will talk about the year in industry in a little bit. But in terms of the study abroad, there's many places that you can go to. The university has links with a lot of universities in other places, and you'll be able to go to that university and study in that place the subject that you're studying at Leicester, but in a different surrounding. There's various countries that you can go to in Europe. There's Spain, there's the Netherlands, Germany, France, Belgium. There's a lot of places that you can choose to, and you can apply to wherever you want as long as your course has that place. I've kind of here, all the examples that I've put is of all the courses in STEM. So for example, I know that engineering doesn't have like South Korea on it, but it has Europe, the USA, Canada. So each course has different things, and you'll be able to do that. I think that, well, first of all, it usually varies from 6 to 12 months. So I had a friend that did 6 months in Spain and 6 months in Italy. So if you're lucky, you can also get to choose, you can split the 6 months in different places. And it happens between your 2nd and your 3rd year. So you'll come to university, you'll do the 1st year all in Leicester, the 2nd year all in Leicester, and then you'll choose whether you want to do a study abroad or not. If you do, then you'll go do your study abroad, and then you'll come back for your last year and do the 3rd year here. And like it says there, I think that this kind of opportunity is very good for people that want to learn new languages, appreciate other cultures, but it'll also be something really good to boost your CV and to impress employers, because they will see that you've had a lot of unique experiences that maybe other students don't have. So yeah, next. So the next option is to work in a company for a whole year. And this is actually really highly encouraged by all my teachers. They always told me, go do a year in industry, go do a year in industry, because for employers, this is a very you're at the end of the day getting a whole year of experience in the subject that you want to do in the future. So it's usually, again, 12 months long, and it's between the same periods. And it's very much self-driven. Even though university will help you, you will have to kind of look for the placement yourself. So you'll have to build a CV, you'll have to build a cover letter, and you'll have to send these to other companies, whatever company you want to work at, and go through a lot of assessment centers, interviews, and things like that. But the career service at university will definitely make sure that you're well prepared. And also each department usually sends out different companies where you can work at and suggestions and things like that. So we've got people working in a bunch of places. Some of the very impressive ones I've put there on the screen. Personally, me, I didn't choose to do a year in industry. What I chose instead, which is something that you can also do, but is I think the year in industry might perhaps give you a lot more experience. I chose to do an internship of 3 months during the summer. And I did it at a company in Spain called Asti. And I think it's a really good opportunity as well to get a taste of what your profession will be like, and also to see what you like inside the subject and what you don't like. So when I did my internship in Spain, I found out that I really liked robotics, and I really liked kind of like applying engineering into medicine and medical equipment. And because of that, now instead of continuing with aerospace engineering, I'm going to focus more on the medical aspect, and I'm going to do a master's in biomedical engineering. So I think that it's a really good opportunity as well to get to find out what you actually like and what you don't like. So yeah, that's pretty much what a year in industry is. And yeah, we can go next slide.
Oh, thanks, Maria. It's my turn now. So Maria mentioned field trips, and they are an integral part to lots of courses, not just within STEM, but throughout the entire university. Many of the courses that we offer have field trips as part of them. Geography, for example, which is my course, and as Maria showed on one of the previous slides, there's loads of options with geography courses, some of which have common first years, some of which have different ones, options from the sciences, and even through into the arts as well. So geography is a really broad course in terms of that. But field trips, like I said, are really integral parts of some courses, and there'll be some compulsory ones. So in geography, for example, in first and second year, everyone has compulsory field trips, which are subsidised by the university. And then there's lots of optional field trips as well to advance your learning. Field trips allow you to get this first-hand experience. So here at university, you're taught by research. You undertake research-led teaching. So what that means is you're actually taught, your academics who teach you, lecturers, professors, and so on, are also doing that research. They're likely, you're not just going to be taught by doing a geography degree. I'm not just taught by a geography lecturer. When I'm studying a specific element of physical geography, maybe we're looking at tectonics, I'm being taught by someone who actively conducts research in that field. And going on a field trip essentially allows the lecturer to open you into their world, into their research, and show you in real life rather than just on a screen or on a piece of paper. They can show you in real life what's going on, how these processes are forming. You can see from the pictures on the screen, for example, on the left is a geography field trip to Berlin, I believe that is. On the bottom, you've got visits to deserts, rainforests on the right, and just students looking really happy and enjoying themselves. And you also develop lots of really good transferable skills as well. So whilst you might come out of your degree and not want to go and work in the field or work wherever you've gone for your field trip, but actually you've developed lots of skills such as teamwork. Maybe you've got some leadership skills if you've taken charge. You might have to do a presentation or some sort of report afterwards. So it gives you that really transferable skill in how to use these skills and develop them further, which is something that employers really like, because when you're doing a job, quite often you're going to have to go out and about looking for things, finding things out, and field trips give you all those amazing experiences. I often get asked if field trips are a deciding factor when you choose to come to university. For me, they definitely were. The field trips that are on offer here at the University of Leicester were a real pull factor for me, and I was like, I really want to go to these places. It if I was giving advice, definitely look at them. So some universities, when you're looking around and shopping around for universities, some will offer more field trips than others. Some will have go to different places. If there's a place you really, really want to go and a university offers it, then definitely consider it. But always remember that universities can change their offerings. This year, for example, obviously we've had unprecedented circumstances with a pandemic. Things change, so don't base your entire decision off one field trip, but certainly definitely have a look. Cost-wise, here at the Uni of Leicester, most field trips are subsidised. All the compulsory field trips are subsidised by the university, and usually optional field trips you have to pay most of the amount. However, the university has various funds that are available to help you, and the costs are kept as low as possible to try and make these trips as accessible. But for example, that obviously varies. Some of them, so in geography, for example, when you go to Sheffield in first year, that cost is obviously a lot less when you do a few days in Sheffield. If you then choose to go and do 10 days working in the rainforest in Colombia or in the Mojave Desert in the USA, as you can imagine, there's differences in transport and everything there. So if I give you one example from my personal course, I do BA Geography, which is predominantly human geography with some physical as well. So this course in particular really bridges the gap between STEM and the arts and humanities, which is why I like it so much. But here at the Uni of Leicester, we come under the STEM umbrella. And so on my course, in your first year, you would have a compulsory field trip to Sheffield for a few days, looking at industrial heritage and how the natural landscape, as in humans have interacted with the natural landscape to create the city as it is. In your second year, you would go to Vancouver and again look at particular social problems within Vancouver that are linked to the area it is and the physical geography behind that. And in your third year, there's optional field trips to Berlin to study some political geography, or to the Amazon rainforest if you're interested in looking at rainforest ecosystems, and that's 2 weeks in Colombia. And there's also an option, I believe, to go to the desert to look at drylands in the desert in the USA as well. So that's just one course example. There are absolutely tons, and I really would encourage you to look on the website, look at the modules, and all the information's there. So that's field trips. And these are just some of the examples of places. I've pulled these off our university website. It's completely not, what's the word? Like, it's not full. There's definitely other courses and other field trips you can go on there, but there's just some examples of where from the University of Leicester on our STEM courses and other courses where you could go. You can see it starts really close. We've got some field trips just in and around Leicester. Walking down the high street in Leicester is a great example of human geography. You might go into Rutland and look at lakes, for example, if you're looking at geography. But you can go all over the world. We've got trips to the Alps, Vancouver, Germany, all over the world, lots of places, not just Europe. And that's a really great opportunity. And this is just a few examples. Again, if you check the website, you can see all our amazing field trips that you get. So when you're studying at university, it's obviously not all just about the studying time. And as you probably know, university here at the Uni of Leicester, we have around 250 sports and societies. And some of them are sports, some of them are completely abstract societies, like the Curry Society, or I'm trying to think of some other crazy examples that we've got. I think there's an arts and crafts one. We have lots of religious ones, faith-based ones, cultural-based ones as well. But we also have almost every course at university has a society linked to it. So here's, again, just a few examples of the societies that are linked to our STEM courses. So there's the Women in STEM Society, which is really pushing to increase the participation of women in STEM courses and in future outcomes as well. You've got JogSoc there, which is the Geography Society. There's a Society for Actuarial Science, GeoSoc for Geology. Physics have the Physics Society and also the Astro Society. So that's looking into astrophysics in particular. If you're interested in like rockets and stuff like that, I'm not entirely sure what astrophysicists do, but something along those lines, that's a society for you. You've got the Chemistry Society. SUMS is the brilliant name for the Math Society. It does actually stand for something, which conveniently makes it SUMS, and I think that's brilliant. And there's a few others as well. Now, these societies, so JogSoc, for example, we have frequent events, both from sort of careers and networking events. They might get former students in to come and talk about what they've gone and done with their geography degree. It might just be interest-based things. So if everyone in JogSoc last year was really interested in climate change, so some of the committee actually organised a few people to come in and speak about climate change, and that's actually led to a new module being formed from next year that's taught to everyone in geography, geology and the environment, all about climate change. So that'll be a really exciting module, and that was led by the student voice sort of saying, we really want to know more about climate change from all the angles. It's also fun. It's a great way to meet other people on your course or on similar courses to you. With JogSoc, we've been pre-pandemic, we went to trampoline parks, all sorts of different social events that cater to all tastes and budgets. We've been to dessert shops. You can't go wrong with a dessert shop, can you? And all sorts of other great ideas like that. And the same with all of our societies. All the societies in STEM are run by a committee of students for the students. And that's another great opportunity you can get involved with in running societies for your course, or even further in university life, just for the university as a whole. And of course, STEM in particular has a lot of purpose-built facilities. So you're studying in some of the best facilities around the university. Obviously with STEM, there's a lot of practical work, especially in the science, technology, engineering side of things. So we have subject-specific labs. So you're not just in a lab. If you're doing physics, you're in a lab that is tailored to physics with the appropriate equipment for what you need. The same with engineering. The picture on the bottom right, I believe, is engineering. The lab for engineering is going to look different to physics, which will look different to chemistry. You can see on the left-hand side, you've got equipment for the field. I believe is a geologist or archaeologist looking at, I think that's geologist looking at rock samples, for example. And they're not doing that in the lab, they're doing it in the field, but we have state-of-the-art technology and equipment in the labs and in the fields, and allowing you to take samples, bring them back, work with them however you need. We also have plenty of computer suites all around the university and in lots of our STEM subject facilities as well. And again, these will be tailored to what you're working with. So in geography, all of our computers are equipped with GIS, so Geographical Information Science technology, which is really useful for mapping data both in physical and human geography, doing remote sensing, and so on. In other subjects, there might be more modeling equipment or any programming equipment for computer science, for example. Any technology you need is all there. And of course, you're using these facilities, and these are often the same facilities that our world-leading research-led academics are also using. So they might be doing their research in the afternoon or in the morning, and then come the afternoon, they're then lecturing you about stuff they've been researching very recently. And then you might have a practical lab session where you might be replicating something they've done previously, or that they're working you up to what they're looking at. So we have these brilliant facilities, which are really great for using. And that really just rounds off the fantastic sort of STEM experience here at the University of Leicester. So I think we've rattled through that really well. We've talked quite a lot. So if you have any questions at all, myself and Maria are here. Any questions at all, even if you think they're silly questions, go for it. We'll do our best to try and answer them, or signpost you to where you'll be able to get a good answer from. So any questions about STEM, about student life in general, we can try and have an answer to. So we'll give you a little bit of time if you're furiously typing away.
Whilst they're typing, Yuti, could you tell us why you both chose Leicester?
Yeah,
Maria, do you want to go first?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I'm originally from Madrid, from Spain. And I knew I wanted to come to the UK for education because it's probably one of the really good ones. And then the University of Leicester had a really good aerospace engineering course. I really liked the modules. I liked kind of like the layout of everything, and the fact that the first year was common for everyone, because I wasn't truly in kind of like aerospace engineering. So I wanted to see if engineering was for me, if I even liked aerospace engineering. So I think University of Leicester kind of allowed me to do that with that common first year.
I think for me, it was, I mean, I personally am from a little bit closer to the university than Maria. I'm from, if you can't work out from my accent, I'm from Birmingham, so just about an hour down the road from Leicester. And I knew I wanted a university that was away from home, so not sitting within the same sort of city or area, but close enough if I wanted to get back that I could. And Leicester is perfectly placed for that. And I looked around a lot of universities, which I was fortunate to be able to do. And Leicester just gave me this real sense of friendliness within the university, but also the department as a whole. Within the department, but also the university as a whole, I should say. And I knew that my department would be sort of a friendly, medium-sized department. And everyone was really interested in talking to you, finding out sort of where you've come from, what interests you, why you wanted to study. and really helpful in guiding you through the application process. The university also has really good facilities. I really like the village, which is about a half an hour walk from campus, which is where, or 5-10 minutes on the bus, which is where most of our student accommodation is for first year. And that gave me a really good sense of home. I felt that I would feel really happy living here, and all the facilities, just kind of when you walk onto campus and you get that feeling of this is really where I see myself studying for the next few years. So I think that's what made me, it was pretty much, once I had seen the unis, I was pretty much set that this is where I wanted to come. And I was fortunate enough to get an offer and meet my conditions, which I was really lucky about. But yeah, I can see some questions coming in. I'm trying to work out which ones. Nicola is rapidly firing some answers to some of them. Let's see which ones we can open. Here we go. So, Maria, this one might be better for you. In a year in industry, do you continue studying the course at the same time?
So, no, you will be kind of working for the company, but you will still be a student. So that means that you'll have reduced fees, and then you will still be able to use the library, the facilities on campus. And then also, even though you won't be doing directly the course, you will have some kind of coursework to do for the university, for your department or for your course. So from my friends that have done a year in industry, they had to write diaries about what they've been learning, what they've been doing. So the university will still check up on you constantly.
Brilliant. So yeah, I think that's also answered pretty much another question of what does the process of a year in industry look like. So essentially, for most courses, you don't have to apply to the year in industry option before you come to university. You can often choose that within your first year that you would like to swap to that course. And then through your second year, you're offered some extra modules which help you guide you through writing a CV, the careers development service help, writing a CV, applications, cover letters, which essentially help you go through the process and try and secure a placement. And then once you're in a year in industry, obviously you're still a student, like Maria was saying, still able to access support and wellbeing if you need, but effectively you are working, in most cases, full-time for the company for the duration that you've agreed with on your placement. And then if you were to fail to secure a placement for year in industry, so as you can imagine, recently it's been a little bit more difficult for some people on some courses to be able to get placements. Your departments often can try and assist and help looking for placements for you. But in general, if you aren't able to secure a placement, you would just carry on into your third year or into the next year of your course, and then simply just remove the words year in industry from your degree title. So you wouldn't be sort of kicked out of uni or anything chaotic like that. It would just be a case of, okay, unfortunately, you haven't been able to get a placement, so we'll move on. But most people I know who've chosen to go for a year in industry have been able to find a suitable placement that they'd like to do. So yeah. Maria, has COVID had a significant impact to what life at uni is normally like, and has it impacted the year in industry aspect?
Okay, well, I think that it would be silly to say that it hasn't impacted what life is normally like. I think it's impacted everything everywhere in all levels. But I do think that it's been different. So throughout the year, for example, in engineering, all the lectures were made online. So everything was online, and there were no lectures on campus. But in terms of the labs, which are normally in groups of 6 people, but when you're actually doing the experiment is between 2 people, those kinds of small labs and things like that, those were still kept in place for the majority of the time. So it was actually all right. You were still going to campus for some things, which was quite positive. It wasn't totally from home. And actually, obviously this is just my opinion, but I really like the lectures being online, because even though throughout the years and stuff, when there wasn't any COVID, like all the lectures are recorded, they're all put online and stuff like that. But like not having to go to lectures and stuff, like I could just pause the recordings whenever I wanted. I could do it at my own pace. There was also not as much of like a schedule, like so you could watch all the videos whenever you wanted, and every week there would be live sessions where you could ask for help with whatever you needed. So it hasn't totally, like it hasn't been too awful. And in terms of the year in industry, it is true that it's been more complicated to do years in industry because of COVID, and industry is not, like companies not wanting to hire people to like work at home because they couldn't provide it in person and stuff like that. But there's still a lot of people that have gone in placements. I have quite a few friends that have gone in placements and they're just finishing them right now, and they'll be doing their last year of university next year. So it's definitely still possible, and people are getting placements, and it's not that big of a deal, so it's okay.
Yeah, I think I'd echo what Maria was saying in terms of uni life. I mean, life in general, like Maria was saying, has been different for everyone the last 18 months or so. In terms of uni life, I mean, of course, it's been different. Either just like for you guys, where school or college has been shut for some time, unis have been online following the government guidance or in blended phone mode for quite a while. But I actually agree with Maria. Having some of my lectures pre-recorded and online, I thought was really useful because for me, I really enjoyed having captions to my lectures. So it helped me process information better. But also, I think personally, I missed being able to have all of my seminars in face-to-face in real life, because those online, I personally found a little bit more difficult because when everyone was turning videos and microphones on, sometimes technology would be technology about it all. But I think for me, the most difficult part about this year is I'm really into my mountaineering. So I'm part of the Mountaineering Society. I was on the committee last year, I'm on the committee again this year. And I think that's been the most difficult part for me, is not being able to do that in the traditional ways, because while some societies are able to carry on remotely, we decided it probably wasn't a good idea to encourage people to sort of climb their walls in their house. I don't think landlords and student accommodation would be too happy about that. So we found there's only so many virtual quizzes and virtual sessions we could do. So I think for me, the main difference was sort of my hobbies and stuff was shifted and done in different ways, as so many other people have. But yeah, so uni life has been different. Hopefully it's heading, as the country heads towards more normality, it will return to a more normal or sort of more traditional setup. But actually, I quite liked some of the learning that happened online. I think it was really beneficial. But yeah, in terms of year in industry as well, I know a few people more towards the social sciences side, but still on years in industry, who had placements that were able to work remotely. And I know people now who are applying for placements who will be working remotely, because a lot of places are shifting to these flexible remote working models. And they've actually had, given the circumstances, a really good experience, and it's given them a lot of life experience. And actually, in their future jobs, they may well be working remotely, so it's given them lots of extra skills as well. So overall, uni life's been different, but it's still been a university year in that sense. I'm just seeing if we've got any other. I think there might be one or two typing, but Maria, shall I put you on the spot? I've got a question. Because you graduate, have you graduated, or you finished your course now, haven't you?
Yeah, I finished, so I'm graduating.
Oh wow! What's your best university memory?
Oh my God.
I know, I'm completely putting you on the spot.
I have a few. I think that in terms of academics, so in my engineering, in engineering, we built a Mars rover on my second year. And that was so fun because you could kind of see like the different stages in like the preparation or in the making of any engineering device. So it was first the designing phase, and getting to design like a whole rover like in class was like, what the hell. And then manufacturing it in the labs, drilling holes into like a piece of plastic, like it was just so crazy. Like it was so much fun. And then learning how to code. I think that that's one of the things that I really like about engineering as well, that it's very multi-purpose. So you do a lot of designing, but also computer science, but also a lot of physics and a lot of maths as well. So I think that that was super fun. And then at the end of the year, this was done throughout the whole year. And then at the end of the year, like kind of presenting, each group presenting their rover, and like we all had the same kind of requirements, but every single rover was so different from each other. And it was like super fun, to be honest. I think that in terms of academics, that, and in terms of just like my life in Leicester, I think that the University of Leicester has so many events, and I've met so many people, and like now I can go and like be like, oh my God, I've got like a family in the UK kind of thing, because I've been to so many events, I've gone to so many like parties, and I've just met so many people, and I think that that's been quite a nice like memory to have. What about you though?
Oh, that's a good one. I think I have to echo the family feel everywhere, whether you're on a really big course or a really small course. There is a whole family feel to Leicester, and everyone's always smiling, saying hi as just you walk past them on the stairs. But also, even I found even during the last 14, 15 months, when seeing people going out and about has been a lot more difficult. People have perhaps been in different countries, and you just couldn't meet people for a lot of the time. But people still really kept in touch, and that family sort of feeling, community feeling, carried on through all of that. But I think my best memory so far would be quite towards the start of first year, actually, which at the time I think felt like more of a shock than a memory, but now definitely is a good memory. Was I think discovering quite how varied the geography course I picked was. So BA Geography and BSc Geography have a common first year, with the exception of the field trip. And I really didn't expect that I'd be coming in the morning, having a lecture or a seminar where we'd be doing something really maths or physicsy, where we'd be looking at like hydraulic pressure of water on rocks, and then going into the afternoon session and we're looking at social and cultural impacts on Sheffield, and like doing all of that in one day, and then going home in the evening and being like, wow, I've learned like quite a lot in one day on so many varied things and using so many different skills. I think at the time I was probably like, what on earth have I signed up for? But now, having finished second year, looking back on it, I'm like, actually, that is a really good memory, and I can see why that was done in that way and how beneficial it was coming forward now. But yeah, I don't know if Nicola's got any other questions that I can't see.
No, I think that's all of them. I've typed away for a few questions, put some links in various places, but I think you guys have covered all the main questions that are there from the students. So thank you, Rowan and Maria, very much. I think that was a really insightful talk, and really nice to hear from a student's perspective as well, kind of how you found, yes, the last kind of 14, 15 months, but also your whole experience of being at uni as well. Hopefully everyone's found that useful. You heard a little bit more about sort of life as a STEM student at the University of Leicester. You do, of course, have a couple more days to go on the summer school. There'll be plenty of opportunity to talk to your mentors a little bit more about what they study and how it works for them as well. So if there are no more questions, I'd like to say thank you very much. Thank you, Rowan, Maria. Thank you, everyone, for coming along. And we will see you at the next session. So thank you.